Exadata hardware member targets. Oracle Exadata Storage Server. Oracle InfiniBand Switch. Cisco Switch. PDU. KVM. Exadata Oracle ILOM Server. Host. Associated Systems. Oracle Database Machine. Oracle Exadata Storage Server Grid. Oracle Database Exadata Storage Server System. Oracle InfiniBand Network. Explain Exadata Architecture. An Exadata storage server is a network-accessible storage array with Exadata software installed on it. Use the Exadata homepage to manage and monitor the Oracle Exadata storage server, also known as Exadata Cell, by managing it as an Enterprise Manager Cloud Control target. You can discover and consolidate management, monitoring and administration of a single or a group of Oracle Exadata storage servers in a data center using Enterprise Manager. Exadata storage servers can be discovered automatically or manually. Once discovered, you can add them as Enterprise Manager targets. The individual Exadata storage server is monitored and managed as an Enterprise Manager target and provides the exception, configuration, and performance information. Grouping of Exadata storage servers is used for easy management and monitoring of the set of storage servers. You can group them both manually and automatically. The grouping function provides an aggregation of exceptions, configuration and performance information of the group of cells. You can view performance analysis by linking Exadata performance both at a cell level and group level to ASM and database performance. You can drill down to Exadata configuration and performance issues from both the database and ASM targets. Storage grid, for example, multiple database/ASM instances sharing the same Exadata storage server, is supported to the same extent as dedicated storage. What is Celcli? Celcli, it is cell command line utility. We can manage cell storage with the use of Celcli utility. We can say it's a utility to administer cell storage. Celcli alter, Celcli create, Celcli drop, Celcli list. Describe Exadata shutdown and startup procedure. Shutdown procedure. Stop database and listener. Stop cluster. Shut down database servers. Shut down cell storage. Shut down all the switches. Remove powers from PDUs. Startup procedure would be in reverse order. What are the different Exadata configurations? The Exadata appliance configuration comes as a full rack, half rack, or quarter rack. The full rack X2-2 has 6 CPUs per node with Intel Xeon 5670 processors and a total of 8 database server nodes. These servers have 96 GB of memory on each node. A total of 14 storage server cells communicate with the storage and push the requested data from the storage to the compute nodes. A half rack has exactly half the capacity. It has 6 CPUs per node with core Intel Xeon 5670 processors and a total of 4 database server nodes. It has 96 GB of memory per database server node with a total of 7 storage server cells. What are the different Exadata configurations? What are the key hardware components? DB server. Storage server cells. High-speed InfiniBand switch. Cisco switch. What are the key software features? Smart Scan. Smart Flash Cache. Storage Index. Exadata Hybrid Columnar Compression EHCC. IORM IO Resource Manager. What types of operations does Exadata offload? Some of the operations that are offloaded from the database host to the cell servers are predicate filtering, column project filtering, join processing, backups. What is a cell and grid disk? Cell and grid disk are a logical component of the physical Exadata storage. A cell or Exadata storage server cell is a combination of disk drives put together to store user data. Each cell disk corresponds to a LUN, logical unit, which has been formatted by the Exadata storage server software. Typically, each cell has 12 disk drives mapped to it. Grid disks are created on top of cell disks and are presented to Oracle ASM as ASM disks. Space is allocated in chunks from the outer tracks of the cell disk and moving inwards. One can have multiple grid disks per cell disk. Exadata is a combination of software and hardware. Here is a list of Exadata versions. In 2008, Exadata v1, hardware was provided by HP, software was Oracle. In 2009, Exadata v2, hardware was provided by Oracle, Exadata was on Sun Solaris. In 2010, Exadataques3, the new machine was now available in two versions, the X2-2 and the X2-8. In 2012, Exadataques3. In 2013, Exadataques4. In 2015, Exadataques5. In 2016, Exadataques6. In 2017, Exadataques7. Exadata racks come in. 8th rack, 2 database servers, 3 storage servers. Quarter, 2 database server, 3 storage servers. Half rack, 4 database server, 7 storage servers. Full rack, 8 database server, 14 storage servers. Though the configuration is same for 8th rack and quarter servers. But for 8th servers some of the resources are disabled, but for quarter rack, 100% resources are available. What are the components of Exadata? Exadata components comprises of cell servers, DB servers, 2 QDR InfiniBand switches, 40 GBs, Cisco Ethernet switch, power distribution units, PDU, provides to cell servers and DB servers. What is the purpose of disk controller? Job of disk controller is to write data to cache. In case of loss of power, the data can be recovered. What is remote management ILM? Remote management ILOM can be used to monitor the Exadata server outside the Exadata data centers. 2 sources of power supplies are always available to provided failure tolerance. When to go for flash cache and grid disk? If data is frequently used, that data can be placed flash cache. What are the types of network? There are 3 types of network. Management network, this network, for monitoring, managing, administrative tasks, ILOM. Activities like shutdown of cell servers, startup of cell servers are done through management network. Client network, this network is used to establish connection between users and database. InfiniBand network, this network is transfer data between DB and storage servers. What is Ethernet? Ethernet switch is usually Cisco switch, it is used to connect to all the networks. What is spine switch? If you want to scale for rack 1 to rack 2, spine switches can be used to add additional racks. 18 racks can be added using spine switches. If you want to additional racks, you can accomplish that using external switches. What is libcell? Libcell is a new in Exadata. Whenever SQL statements are run, job of libcell is used to convert the SQL statements into IDB messages. IDB messages will be sent from DB server to cell servers via InfiniBand network. Example, select EMP_name from employee statement will be converted into IDB message and sent to the cell servers. What are the process running on cell server? Cell server has 3 processes. Cell serve, management server, restart server. Job of cellserve is to convert those IDB messages sent by libcell to blocks which are required to be accessed from cell. Once those blocks are accessed, they are sent back to the DB servers. By sending only the required blocks of the query, lot of I/O and network is reduced to return few blocks. It basically communicates with DB server. Management server manages the cell servers, it creates the thresholds. When the thresholds or alerts are not met, through SNMP process info is sent to OEM. It basically provides an interface to DBA for communicating or managing cell server. Cellcli is the command line tool which Exadata DBA used for performing admin activities. Restart server, job of RS is to restart any jobs that is, cellserve or MS, that were stopped. Monitors cellserve and MS, and restarts them whenever they are stopped. How are the blocks that need to be accessed from cell server identified? Cell server has a cell server software, which is installed on all the cell servers. Throughout that software, ID messages which are sent by libcell are decrypts the address of block that needs to be accessed from the cell storage. All the block exchange is done by cellserve process. Explain storage architecture. Storage architecture comprises of disk, LU1, cell disk, grid disk, ASM disk. 12 disks in one cell server. Disk will always be mapped to LUNs. 12 disks, that means 12 LUNs. So there would be 12 LUNs in cell server. Out of 12, first 2 servers would have the cell software. Grid disk are created on cell disk. One cell disk can have one grid disk or multiple grid disks can be created out of cell disk. How is Exadata monitoring done? There are different technologies available to monitor Exadata. ILM, SNMP. ILM, Integrated Light Out Management System. Generally we have to physically stand in front of servers to figure out if everything is working fine. Like cell, InfiniBand or hard disk are working fine, you can't connect to console which is next to server at the data center. But with ILOM same can be accomplished remotely. This monitoring happens through IPMI and SNMP network. Different technologies are installed in the DB and storage server. Accessed via browser-based interface or command line interface. What are the monitoring tools used? Monitoring can be done through Cellkly and OEM monitoring. Cellkly monitor and manage the cell server. OEM monitoring, OEM agent needs to be installed on the DB server. How to access Cellkly? To invoke the Cellkly, simply log into the Exadata cell as cell monitor, cell admin, or root user and type Cellkly. Within Cellkly, a wide range of commands can be invoked to monitor the cell. How do I connect to Exadata cell? Each Exadata storage cell can be monitored, configured, and maintained using the Cellkly command line interface. To invoke the Cellkly, simply log into the Exadata cell as cell monitor, cell admin, or root user and type Cellkly. Within Cellkly, a wide range of commands can be invoked to monitor the cell. What is cell disk in Exadata? First of all, cell disks are created on each storage cell. One physical disk makes one cell disk. So a quarter rack has 36 cell disks. To divide the space in various disk groups, by default only 2 disk groups are created, data and Rico. You can choose how much space to give to each of them. Grid disks are created. How do I check my Exadata server? Determine the Exadata storage server software version. Log into one of the storage servers. Type this command image-info ver. What is LACP in Exadata? LACP is a protocol that both the switch and network interfaces use to gain membership in the aggregation group. Without that membership negotiation, the switch will not forward traffic to the network interface. How to manage DB and cell servers remotely on Exadata with ExaCLI utility, Part 1. We can manage database and cell servers remotely using the ExaCLI and ExadCLI utilities. Simply put, ExaCLI is a command line tool which comes by default on database and cell nodes that provides the capabilities of remote management for database and cell servers on the Exadata. Unlike CellCLI only runs on cell servers and DBMCLI runs on only DB nodes, the ExaCLI can manage database or cell servers remotely. There are 2 key advantages of using the ExaCLI. 1. It's useful when you can't get SSH connectivity and root user credentials to connect DB or cell nodes. 2. With Exadata at customer or cloud, customers won't get SSH and root user access for CellCLI and DBMCLI. So, the ExaCLI could be handy to access the servers. ExaCLI works with the non-system, default, users on the DB or cell servers. Therefore, you must create a role-based user in order to use the utility to connect to a DB or cell server. The utility is found under /user/local/spin directory.